Hello everybody and welcome to the GMS magazine videos. I am Paco Garcia, your host, and this is the video in which I give you my insights as a writer, an author, player, a GM and a convention attendee. And today something I've been thinking about whether I wanted to do this video or not for a couple of weeks because it's going to be very controversial. So buckle up. But you know what? Absolutely right. D&D, role-playing games, is not for nerds anymore. Let's game. A few weeks ago, the BBC Three released a 1-minute video, just 1-minute video, in which this young lady kept saying how D&D is not for nerds anymore. That video released an insane amount of backlash. I mean, that was all over the place. My mind just blew. Seriously? That was... What the hell? Okay, I have my issues with that video. I thought it was a little bit too divisive and it concentrated too much on the fact that we have been divided rather than the fact that, you know, D&D has never been just for nerds. Ever. All sorts of people have played Dungeons and Dragons and many other role-playing games. The video said it's not just for beardy boys anymore. You know what? I found quite funny one thing. Firstly, that people took offense at that. You know, seriously, people took offense at being called beardy boys. Hello? Beards are way fashionable right now, and people look amazing in beards. Being a beardy boy is nothing to be ashamed of, or being, you know, upset about if somebody calls you a beardy boy. It probably means that you're beautiful and gorgeous and look fantastic with your beard. If you look after it properly, which you should, please do it. There's nothing wrong with it. But you know what? Even more, there's nothing wrong with being a nerd at all. Listen, there have been plenty of beardy boys and nerds who've played D&D and many other role-playing games have been a way of escapism. There are an awful lot of people who have had their lives relieved of an awful lot of bad stuff because role-playing games, because they were bullied for being nerds, because they were outcasts for being nerds. Being nerd, there's nothing wrong with that. It wasn't being nerd that was the problem. It was the people who bullied the nerds for being nerds. They were the problem. I don't have to feel ashamed for saying that I'm a nerd and I'm a big geek. I wear that as a badge of honor because that made me the person I am today, and I am jolly proud of what I have done. And I wish people stopped feeling offended at the thought that we are nerds. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing. What's wrong is people mocking nerds for being nerds. So yes, D&D has been for nerds. Plenty of nerds have played D&D, and Call of Cthulhu, and Mutants and Masterminds, and Tunnels and Trolls, and Metamorphosis Alpha, and loads. So quite frankly, reacting badly when somebody says, anyone on any media says D&D is not just for nerds anymore, seriously, stop it, think about it, because it's unwarranted. Also, whether we like it or not, and thanks to the media, most people have thought at one point or another, and a lot of people still do, that actually D&D is just for nerds. That's just the way it is. It isn't true. It is not true. And you just have to go to pretty much any game convention, any game store, any meetup group, and find out that it's just not true. The media have portrayed us like that. Whenever we have seen people playing role-playing games, in movies, in films. More often than not, we have been stigmatized. We have been given the role of the awkward, socially unskilled, difficult to have a relationship with nerd. That's just happened. And it has happened in series that people absolutely adore. My pet hate is The Big Bang Theory. It's one of the series I despise the most for doing that, because they have made a mockery out of intelligence, out of sensitivity, out of imagination, out of being a nerd. And I hate that so much, because some of the best people I know are nerds. I wouldn't change it for the world, not one iota. So when somebody comes out and you get responses like this,
and you have this sweaty blonde lady, I like how she pretends she's got that look on her face like, a dungeon master, or so authentic, much wow. You must play a lot of D&D. They don't call him a dungeon master or a game master. It's always this thinly veiled jab at men. Oh, wow. The beardy boys in the basement. And I hate Stranger Things for ruining D&D, for bringing in all these people who aren't interested in the game at all.
Seriously? You are going to insult somebody based on your looks because she described you? How fragile is that? And the word is very. We need to live up to that. We need to really look at people and say, you know what, yeah, I'm a nerd. And now what? Exactly what is your point? Because it doesn't matter, because I guarantee you they will have no arguments against you. And the arguments might be, oh yeah, I used to beat them up when I was a teenager. I said, well, you were the problem, not the nerds. There is nothing wrong with being a gaming nerd. Nothing. And we should celebrate that. We should celebrate that we have a community that is so accepting, that is so open, so welcoming, that it doesn't matter that being a nerd is never, ever gonna be something that people will mock you for. Ever. Because being a nerd is awesome. And being a gaming nerd, that's just the pinnacle of awesome. That's just like, there's few things more awesome than that. Because we are awesome. Simple as. So when somebody says D&D is not for nerds anymore, it's never been for nerds anymore. Ever. And if people think that, they are very, very wrong. Take them to a convention, take them to a store, show them yourself and say, you know, and if so, what? If so, what? There's nothing wrong with you for being a nerd. Nothing wrong with you. So celebrate nerdism, being a nerd. Celebrate it. And if somebody says anything, who cares about that? Who? Oh yeah, he does. Anyway, please do subscribe to the channel. It's very much appreciated when you do so. We'd love to have you around. And leave me your comments down there, because I'd love to hear what you have to say. Seriously, it's genuinely welcome. But until the next time, thank you very much indeed for being there. And I will talk to you very soon. Take care.